My name is Ning Nancy. I am 25 years old this year. When I was 15, the old man brought Xu Qingyan to the Ning family. When we first met, I stood on a spiral staircase in a beautiful dress, looking down at him, who was only 2 years older than me. Tall, thin, with clear features, he was my favorite. But I was the future heir of the Ning family, and he was just a beloved assistant trained for me. In the 10 years since then, he has taken care of everything for me. We were acquainted and familiar, but we couldn't cross the status line. The marriage has been finalized. I used the strength of alcohol to hook Xu Qingyan's neck. If I agree, it will be another man who will be by my side in the future. He was silent for a moment, his breath pressing close to kiss over. At least now it's still me. He's still waiting for you downstairs. When Xuyu's words made me put down my phone and glance out the window at the snowy scenery. I was on the top floor of a small villa building on the west side of Motel Manor, where the 4 sides of the space were all transparent in design. Snow was falling, accumulating layer after layer on the glass roof. The snowflakes fluttered, making this small corner seem to be shaking. Outside the glass, it is a cold spring, and the scenery is colorless. I can see the cars downstairs and the people standing in the snow with umbrellas. The black car, the black umbrella, the snow falling all over him. He looks like a little black. I continued to play with my cell phone, like a noble and beautiful cat, sinking into the soft sofa. The silver sequin dress skirt was open, revealing glistening white thin legs. I said carelessly, "It's only been an hour, I didn't wait long." When Xuyu teased, "1 hour is not long?" He made you angry again. I didn't say why, only said, "He doesn't listen." Missy, he listens to you enough. He waited in the snow without saying a word, even though you told him to do so on purpose. He was there when I came, and he hasn't moved yet. By the way, I heard you're getting engaged. I was a bit surprised. How do you know? It's all over the city. You, Miss Ning, want to get married, and those with some family background are all eager to do so. My mom even wanted to let my untalented brother give it a try. I heard that you have a blind date tonight, and you're still sitting here calmly. Are you deliberately delaying not going? Being guessed by Wen Shuyu, I didn't hide it anymore, and pursed my lips unhappily. I don't want to go. Annoying. The most annoying is that man downstairs. When Shuyu understood, and then looked at the figure in the snow, deliberately said, "Oops, the snow is really big. The day is so cold. I have to hurry back. Easy to catch a cold." After saying that, she pressed the concert tickets on the coffee table. "Tickets put here. Bye." Before leaving, she also exclaimed exaggeratedly, "It's so cold. It's really cold." After when Xiyu left, I stared at Xu Qingyan in the snow. She greeted him and left in her car, leaving rutted prints behind. He remained motionless. The snow was indeed getting heavier, and the sky was getting colder. I purse my lips and compromised. I pull up the fur shawl that has fallen to the lower edge of my round shoulders and get up. This spring is cold and windy, snow after snow, not see everything recover. I wore broken diamond satin high heels toward the snowsuit Qingyan. He was in a suit tall and straight. Dull white snow became his background. He was very obedient and would comply with any rude and capricious request, but also very disobedient. I stopped in front of him, my feathered shawl making me bright and open. I looked at him angrily and asked, "No, what's wrong?" With a calm expression, he held an umbrella over me to shield me from the snow before saying, "There are only 20 minutes left until the meeting time." I instantly came to be angry. "Xu Qingyan, are you sure you want to listen to my grandfather and send me on a blind date?" He looked bland, like a work machine. "This is my job." My cheeks reddened with anger. I raised my foot and kicked him in the calf, turning my head and walking away, not even wanting an umbrella. I walked to my car, my hair and clothes wet from the snow, and the driver ran terrified to open the door. I ignored him and turned my head to glare at Xu Qingyan. "Come here and open the door." The snow got heavier and heavier, the sky more oppressive, and the atmosphere inside the car subtle. The driver didn't dare to make a sound, much less pry. I sat in the back seat and stared at Xu Qingyan. His appearance was correct, and he stood out from the crowd. The shirt I chose for him shows off his skin color, the collar buttons are tied to the last one, and the side jawline is smooth and superior. But I hated his character. The driver drove carefully, and after a few minutes, the car stopped in front of the hotel. I didn't get out of the car and ordered the driver to get out first. The driver glanced at Xu Qingyan and got out of the car after receiving a signal. I asked Xu Qingyan to park the car on the front curb. He was silent for a moment, confirming the time, and then did as he was told. The only sound on the boulevard was the sound of snow falling. We stood frozen for a minute before I spoke again, "Come here." Instead, he reminds me I don't have enough time. I held back my anger and said I would be on time for my appointment. He thinks for a moment and gets out of the car and opens the back seat door. As soon as the door opened, the cold air collided with the warm air. Without a second thought, I grabbed him by the neck, pulled him into the car, and closed the door. I sat on his lap and grabbed him by the collar of his shirt to keep him from moving. He tilted his head slightly and looked at me. I warned him to shut up or snap his neck. He pauses for a split second and looks at me quietly. I've been holding back for 2 days and finally explode. "You're so good. Grandpa asked you to arrange a blind date, so you seriously picked the candidate and arranged the time and place. Are you sure you're sending me to meet another man?" My fingers slid over his suit and landed on his waist and stomach. His brows furrowed as he tried to stop me, and before his hand could touch my wrist, my lips were nipped. I did it on purpose, waiting for the taste of blood before letting go. I smirked. "You sent me to meet another man. But would that man know I'm sitting on your lap right now?" I was 5 years old when my parents died unexpectedly, and I became the sole survivor. From then on, my life was set up in a clear way, including marriage. It was always clear that I would marry the person my grandfather chose to take over Ning. But I don't know when I started to resist the union. I ended the meeting with Longchen Group in 5 minutes. Walking out of the hotel, the snowy night was dark. I was wearing the cashmere jacket Xu Qingyan had prepared, warm and soft, insulating me from the cold. But I hated his attentiveness. I stopped at the hotel lobby, looked at Xu Qingyan waiting outside with an umbrella, and realized the reason why I resisted the union. He had his back to the door, his slender back elongated by the light, indifferent and cold. I walked toward him. He heard footsteps turned back, for me to hold the umbrella. The atmosphere on the way home is depressing. Almost home, Xu Qingyan received a phone call, said the old man wants to see me. I did not respond. I knew that I would be scolded. After all, I sent off the object of the union. Returning to the Ning family, we went into the old master's study together. The old master was in poor health and hadn't taken his medicine yet. When he saw me, he questioned me angrily. I was undaunted and lazily said I could sit for a few more minutes. The old man shouted out my full name and warned me that the marriage could not be put off, and that if I didn't pick now, I wouldn't be able to pick later. I bit my lip, unwilling and aggrieved, turned my head and left. The old man told Xu Qingyan to keep an eye on me and choose a suitable person who can hold me down and is reliable like him. Xu Qingyan agreed. He didn't see me on the first floor, and the maid said I lost my temper and ran to the west side of the villa. He went to see me. The villa was my 17th birthday present, and the glass house was designed by Xu Qingyan. On a snowy night, Xu Qingyan stood in front of the villa, remembering the words of the old master. He knew that the old man was knocking him down, cautioning him not to overstep his bounds. The villa was empty and silent. I soaked in the bathtub, knowing that Xu Qingyan had come. In the entire Ning family, he is the only one who dares to hit the gun in my anger. I was tired, didn't want to lose my temper, and buried myself in the water. Xu Qingyan didn't find me in the glass room and walked towards the bedroom. The bedroom is drawn with gauze curtains, hazy and hidden. The bathroom door was open, hot air spilling out. He stopped a few steps away. Tomorrow morning there's a meeting at the company, lunch with the Longchen Group at noon, and at night, Xu Qingyan. I was so angry that I sat up straight from the bathtub. "I don't want to hear about tomorrow's arrangements. Shut up." "Fine. When you come out, I'll say it again." I was so fired up I wasn't in the mood for a bath. I stood up but slipped. The water rushed in and nearly drowned me. Xu Qingyan folded back, guessing what had happened. He took a clean bath towel and covered my head, wiping my hair and the water droplets on my face despite my resistance. Then he lifted me out of the water and carried me to the sink. He wrapped me in another fresh towel, his movements gentle, but his face expressionless. "Are there any injuries?" Like a businesslike inquiry. I looked at his dampened suit and knew that underneath was a strong, lean, powerful waist. The heat of the bathroom lingered, and his breath entwined. I bring up the evening's meeting. "Do you know why I only met for 5 minutes?" Xu Qingyan avoided my gaze and rubbed my hair. I said to myself, because I hated the smell of his perfume, and 5 minutes was my limit. His dress face, I don't even like it. I tilted my head and stared at Xu Qingyan. There isn't a single thing that I would like. Xu Qingyan stopped moving and locked eyes with me. "This is your responsibility. You don't get to be capricious." I smiled and asked him, "What if I'm inclined to be capricious?" "You know, I won't let you be capricious. It's my job, my responsibility." Strangely, I wasn't more irritated. Probably pissed off to the limit and laughed at him. "Your job also includes sleeping with me?" Xu Qingyan didn't make a sound, locking eyes with me. The bottom of his eyes were dark, and I carried a playful look. My heart beat a few beats faster as I felt his breath. I looked at the wound on his lip and felt that it would heal soon. I ask him if it hurts, and he is silent. I don't think he even knows pain. He's a work machine. My heart swells with emotion, and I yank on his collar, getting back at him. We are close, like lovers yet not. I bite his lip again on the wound. I'm going to give him all my sadness and aggression, make him hurt too. I bite hard enough to taste blood again. I look at him, and he looks at me with sunken eyes, no frown, no expression. My heart sank for a moment, and I backed away, blood on the corner of my lips. "Xu Qingyan." I called out his name. He wiped the blood from the corner of my lips with his knuckles. Our intimacy was subtle, not taken for granted, yet growing wild. From the time we first met at 15, I knew there was an invisible door between us. But I always wanted to cross it. We were intimate enough to have long kisses when no one knew. I felt the strength of his knuckles, and for a moment I had the illusion that he was polishing a beloved treasure. But the illusion only exists for 2 or 3 seconds. "Was it fun?" he asked me. His eyes were downcast, his lashes long. His fingers moved to the back of my neck, and I'm forced to tilt my head back, like prey caught in a hunter's grip. But I wasn't afraid. I liked how strong he was. Xu Qingyan is no longer a young teenager. There is a sense of control after being teased. The stalemate ends when his breath twines to the top, and he kisses over, sweeping hard. I grabbed the lapels of his coat and leaned back, my neck beautifully defined. About to hit the mirror, he protects the top of my head, checking my back for injuries. Then releases me and leaves the bathroom. I take the time to let my heartbeat return to normal. He only shows possessiveness when he kisses, letting me confirm my weight in his heart. But every time he leaves, he's so dry. It's like I'm playing a one-man show. I organized my emotions, took a shower, and changed into my pajamas before stepping out of the bathroom, only to see Xu Qingyan. I thought he had left. We stared at each other for a few seconds, and he said that he had brought medicine to treat my back injury. We tacitly agreed not to mention the kiss. I frowned and refused. "Don't, I hate the smell." This was the old master's bruise medicine, which I had hated since I was a child. Xu Qingyan unexpectedly brought this medicine. He ignored my refusal and asked, "Bedside or sofa?" I ignored him and passed in front of him with my bare feet. But I was yanked by his arm. He was much taller than me and carried a sense of oppression when he was serious. He's running out of patience tonight and throws me onto the bed, pressing down on my back. I turned my back to him, my high and mighty willfulness crushed, powerless to fight back. "Xu Qingyan, what are you doing?" "Giving you medicine." His voice was calm, one leg pressing down on my struggling legs, opening the cap of the potion bottle, the smell of Chinese medicine filling the room. I was so angry I wanted to curse. The nightgown straps were ripped off, and the potion covered the fall wound.